Hola mola cola, everybody. Welcome back to another art stream. It's me, Tartifia, digital illustrator, and today we're going to be storyboarding. So we finally made it to this point where we're actually drawing out the visuals of a manhwa style webcomic episode. And the manhwa style is when we read from like on the vertical. So it's gonna be, you start, from the top, and then you just scroll down on your phone, and you get the little panels and such, and you read the comic. That's that's what I'm gonna be doing for the next couple hours. I'm gonna be drafting out the first storyboard, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just talk about why it's important, things that I look out for, how we angle the camera around and such like that. So that's what we're gonna head into. But before we do that, just a reminder, guys, if you want to support the channel, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, and at the end, if you felt like this was really helpful, share it with some people that you think this will help out. And then also, if you're on YouTube, I have split up my channel into two. I have a gaming channel, Taro Tifiao Games. If you're interested in hanging out with me while I play some video games that I've been trying to play for a while, come check me out on this channel, which has been growing very much. A lot of people out there really like to, play video games. All right, so yeah, come check me out there if you want to hang out with me on Monday and you want to hear me get loud and hear an artist talk about video games as he plays them. And then also, speaking of webcomics, I actually do have a webcomic on Webtoon already, on Webtoon Canvas. It's called Reborn Daughter. This is a romance drama genre story about a young man who discovers he's gonna have a future daughter, and we're following the story to figure out who the mother is going to be. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go ahead and read that. You do have to be at least age 16 or higher. It is rated for young teens. So if you're younger than that, then it's cool. You can go ahead and skip it, and you can read this comic instead, or when I publish it on the Webtoon contest. So ooh, something got loud. Was it? That wasn't that. Okay. All right, so the playlist should be playing by now. Yeah, okay. All right, we're all set to go. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Actually, hold on. Even though my prep, I forgot to pull out the script. So yes, of course, you don't want to go into this without a script, right? You definitely want to write out what happens in your story before you actually start drawing it, because, well, I mean, of course, how are you gonna know what to draw? Haven't written it down. Okay. All right, I pulled out the script on a different screen, so you won't be able to see it. But that's okay. I'll explain what's going on. So, actually, before I start going in, let me just talk about the template, right? So, you start off with the template. This is a template that I've downloaded from, man, I should have prepped this before. What's her name? I think the artist's name is Pulverus. She has a webcomic that she does on Webtoons, and I checked out one of her classes on, what do you call it? What do you call it? What's the name of that website? Has all this green. Man, the website was so forgettable. Skillshare, there you go, it's on Skillshare. Okay. Yeah, so I checked out her classes on Skillshare. She gave out these templates for people to use when they draw the webcomic, and it's been very, very useful. I'm still using it for all of my webcomic storyboarding. But yeah, essentially it's just really simple. You just have, you know, you divide it up from all the lines and you just draw off your story using this. I think also there's another content creator on YouTube, starts with a W, but this guy rates webtoons and gives people advice on how to make their webtoons better. I think his name is Walter. I forget everybody. I'm really bad with names, guys, so I always forget people's names. But yeah, he also made a video about storyboarding your webtoon out like this. So, you know, definitely want to check them out. That's where I got a lot of my information from. So just going, you know, I'm just giving people the credit that they deserve. And yeah, essentially this is just pretty much what you want to do. Now, let's go ahead and check out the canvas size, the canvas property. Okay, so we've got the width of 9,000. So the reason why I wanted to point this out is because, again, I might be botching her name, but Pulverus, she set up the width so that you have just enough, like this whole thing, if you're storyboarding like in a specific range, right? Because even when I tighten up all of the panels, this width is enough for one episode. So once you hit the end of this storyboard template, you pretty much have an episode, and then you can see if, you know, maybe you wrote too much and then you got to cut it off at some point and then continue the rest on another episode, right? Which is what we're going to find out today. Once I hit this point, you know, we're going to see where I'm at on my script, and then I have to decide if I want to end it early or if I want to keep it going. Now, normally when I do Reborn Daughter episodes, I always exceed this. Like there's never a time where, you know, my last panel is like, you know, here or maybe on this panel, right? I always go up to here and it's still like 3 more columns that I got to do. So I always kind of overshoot when it comes to when it comes to writing my stories, which is something that I've been working on. But just judging by what I have already, I think we're gonna hit the end again before I even get to, you know, the end of my script here. So I'm probably gonna end up maybe extending it, but we also got to do a count on panels. I need 40 panels at least minimum. I could now, you know, there's nothing saying that I can't. There's nothing saying that I can't exceed that amount. But with the time frame that I have, you know, I've got to make 3 episodes in the next month and a half. So, you know, I'll just take what I can get at this point. Another thing to note is that I can be very loose with the artwork, and the reason why I say this is because I'm not going to spend too much time on, you know, refining and defining the art, just because they have a grading system, and literally out of 100%, only 20 is art based. And I'm not even kidding. It's literally just 20%. There's not even like a 10 or 5% on like some other aspect of the art. Nope. It's literally 80% is all like based on your idea and how you wrote it. And the other 20% is just art. So, you know, that being said, I'm not too encouraged to make it look great. So that means I'm not going to be so critical about, you know, how the pose is or like how certain things make sense, right? And that's because, and that's fine on a webcomic. When you're doing the comic stuff, a lot of people spend, I think on average, like way less than admitted. It's like a couple of seconds, like looking at a panel, and then they just scroll, right? So they don't give themselves enough time to actually have a gaze and look at everything and allow their brains to process what's wrong. So you can get away with a lot of mistakes in your artwork when you're drawing your comic. So yeah. All right, so this is where I was up to the last time. I was working on this. So we're just gonna go ahead and continue, and I'll give you guys some context as we go along. But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and reiterate here. You know, you really don't have to be so critical about how the artwork is, because again, most people just scroll right through it. They don't even notice the small mistakes. And you know, the small percentage of people that do that, well, you know, kudos to you guys. I really appreciate you for appreciating the art. And if you want to go ahead and point out any mistakes, that's fine. But you know, probably most of the time the artist is already aware that they made a mistake there. So you don't, you know, so I discourage you from being nitpicky about details. All right. So yeah, see, like I can already tell that maybe the position of this nose, it's not where it should be, right? And this is me being nitpicky about my stuff. All right, so there you go. And then we just kind of, we got to move the mouth up because we moved the nose up, right? And this makes sense because we're at a lower angle, right? So then if I had to make a box for the face, it'd be like that. And then the rest will go into the back of the head here, right? And then, well, hold on. We make the box, and then we have the eyes, and then we have the crosshair here. And we determine where the nose is. And again, this takes a lot of time to do to every single drawing. So I highly recommend you don't do this. And you just kind of focus on, you know, just getting the actual angle. And then you just come back and you go through a second draft and you correct everything. And then you line art and then you color. And then you add all the text bubbles and the suffixes, right? The sounds and whatnot. Because, like, you know, and don't forget to add your sounds, okay? Like over here, there's a creak to describe the door opening. And then I have Doki Doki Doki, right, to this, you know, to describe that, you know, her heart is beating, right? So, you know, all right, anyways. But I should be yapping, but I feel like I'm yapping a little too much. Okay, so in this part of the scene, we're sitting down. They finally sat down together, and he's complaining that he doesn't want to be here, right? And he's stuck with her here. And now in the next scene, you know, and you can be okay. Now when you're creating scenes, you can make a small box, right? You can put it across like that. You got your squares, you know, the regular squares, which is like a very normal thing that you see all the time. You can even change how the frame is, right? Maybe if she's yelling, you know, we can invoke that feeling of yelling from the framework. Okay, so I just want to actually just bring this bring some attention to framework in the story, because it's a fun way to express your scene. But it's something that a lot of people don't think about. It's something I think about, but also I'm lazy in this way where in the drafting stage I'll go ahead and just draw a regular box because I'm trying to set a scene, right? But then when I come back, maybe then I'll take the time to have some fun with it and be a little creative and do something different, right? Like I explained, you know, maybe if this character is yelling, we're gonna use the frames here, right? And then maybe I have an arm coming out of the frame and the ear is hurting, right? Like, oh my gosh. You are yelling too much. There's too much yapping here. It's too much yapping. Right. So, just something to keep an open mind about when you're drawing things. But also at the same time, it's like my little disclaimer to say that I'm not gonna do that until later. So, all right, let's go ahead and continue here. So she retorts here. So I want to create. I want her to lean in here, right? So I'm gonna create this line and I'm gonna lighten it up. Okay, so when you're sitting down, you're grounded on your hips. So I'm gonna start with her hips first. Where's the pelvic bone? And she's gonna be sitting with her legs like kind of open. And then I'll just draw a shape for the foot here. Okay, now we can give her the let's have her stretch the upper body here. Then I want her shoulders to be up. And should be standing up from here actually. And now she has her hoop earrings, which we always have to be very conscious of gravity. So let's have this earring over here. They're gonna have to drag down here even though her body is leaning. Same thing goes for her hair. And now she's also wearing her her cardigan, but all that stuff is going to be kind of floofed out down her waist. So now let's level this floor here. Let's draw the other character's waist. It's gonna be a bit angled differently. Okay. So I also want him to lean a bit as well, because he's leaning away from her. And now he's also going to be, his arm is going to move. So in the scene before, he has it on his knee. But now she's leaning in and he's going to lean away. So now we're going to remove that contact off the knee. We'll give him Now for the shirt, it's going to curve in like that. Just because we gotta also keep in mind where the eye level of the camera is. So I get the idea here. Of course, I can sit here and correct things, but again, the whole idea is to plan out the scenes. Okay, so we're gonna put a bubble for what she says. She says a couple of things. I could break this down into 3 bubbles actually, so let's do that. We got bubble 1. And then I got a little small one where this is gonna have little text. Like she says something kind of under her breath. Okay, and now we're gonna move on to the next scene. Okay, so now I gotta decide if I want to keep the camera where it is or change the camera's position. We've already changed the camera here. We've got the camera in the front. I don't think the camera needs to leave for the next action, so we're gonna keep it here. So I'm thinking we're gonna have the head down. So if we box this, right? The box of the head is like this, and we see the top of the head. So, you know, we're gonna have to think like that when it comes to positioning, you know, the characters. Okay, now for his hair, they only overlap on the side here. Okay. And now since the head is being tilted, we raise the ears. So the ears is not going to connect to the nose. We're going to raise them up, and it gives us this idea that, you know, the character is looking down. Now we've got a shove here. Okay, I'm just gonna draw a hand here. There's all this webbing in between. And then we're gonna draw the palm. Just to say, I am very bad when it comes to names. Like, earlier I could not remember. Oh, hi! Oh, well, we got someone in chat. I didn't even realize it. Hi, good to see a new streamer on Twitch. I'm sure you have a great and wonderful future ahead of you. And I just came by to wish you all the best. Best wishes from a Russian Twitch user. Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much, Velis. Or XVelisX. Yeah, thank you so much for the wishes, and I really appreciate that. And I hope that, you know, the content is helpful to you. But yeah, I definitely am I guess a new artist on Twitch. I've only recently been streaming on a consistent basis. I pretty much started last year, but it was, you know, most of my content was just me getting on and practicing and studying. So it was more like a study with me thing, but you know, now I'm just making stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate that. You know, I am working hard towards a bright future, so you know, I'm really hoping we get there at some point. But you know, welcome to the channel, and you know, welcome to the journey. Because as always, I will be updating everyone and letting people know what's going on. But ultimately, you know, everyone's support on the channel is what's gonna make that happen, right? So, oh, and thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. And now that makes me one more follower away from making it to be eligible as a Twitch affiliate. Thank you so much for the support. And you know, feel free to continue to use the translator, I guess, if you want to chat, if you can understand what I am saying, because you know, I would love to talk to you as well. That makes me wonder if there's like an app that'll make it so you know, there'll be like subtitles that'll translate what I'm saying. Okay, so in the last scene we have our character leaning in, and now he wants to push her away. But I definitely want to see more of her, so we're gonna resize this. Damn, she's gonna have that, you know, that face. And again, we've got the earrings. So let's make sure we take full use of the earrings as well. Oh, unfortunately, my knowledge of English is extremely weak, and I was able to make out only part of the text, but I hope that you will succeed with the comic and you will come up with more than one amazing journey. Thank you so much, Velis. And yes, I really hope that as well. Actually, since you brought that up, let me go ahead and talk about that real quick. You know, when it comes to making stories, I have read about the manga authors in Japan, and man, I might be wrong, but if I remember correctly from what I read in the Shonen Jump, like there was a poll done in the studio, and the poll was that, you know, do the creators want to make more than one story? And the answer was yes. However, in the studio, they were just, you know, back then it was really popular to make very long, like very long stories. Like Dragon Ball Z went on for years. One Piece is still going. You know, that was kind of like the trend. Like, yeah, we want a story that's gonna last for like a decade, right? You know, Naruto was one, and we went to Boruto. So that was just like a big thing. And but like honestly, a lot of the creators, they just wanted to make more stories. They didn't want to get stuck making just one story that made a big hit, and they wanted to make more than one story in their whole lifetime. Because when you think about how long it takes to make manga, it takes an extremely long time. Think about how many years it's going to take for you, if you start a story, how long it's going to take for you to finish it, you know? And is this going to be the only story you want to make, or do you want to make a second one? And then if that's the case, do you have enough time in your life to make a whole second story? Like, if you made a story as long as Dragon Ball Z on One Piece, do you think you can make another one? Do you think you have time to make another one? Would you want to work, you know, during the late parts of your life to make a second one? That's a question you might want to ask yourself, and you might want to consider before you start making stories. But that being said, there are other stories I want to make, so I appreciate you once again, Velis. You know, I will definitely come up with more stories, and I hope that they are amazing, and I hope that people, you know, enjoy them and it helps them, you know, within their lifetime, because stories do help people. And, you know, I'm not trying to make it pretentious, but I think that is the actual truth. We have a lot of stories about people who read or consumed some sort of, you know, media, right? That included a story that really spoke to them. And even though most of the world looks at this stuff as, like, you know, it's not necessary, right? It's not something that the world needs, so it's a luxury. I don't know, like in a very mental or spiritual way, I feel like we need this stuff. And, you know, it also gets added into history, and all that stuff matters, right? We all learn from humans' previous mistakes. All that stuff gets jotted down, and this is what allows us to be, you know, to come into a better future. Okay. Okay, I just translated what you sent, Velas, and You're saying this translator turned out to be much worse than the previous one. I hope the way it translated didn't sound too bad. No, it sounded great. The message came across. So thank you so much for the wishes once again and the support. You know, and it means a lot to me to know that you hopped through a whole language barrier. You know, just to encourage me and to support me. So I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so let's continue. And so he's going to shove her. Right, shove. And as I pointed out before, we use the earrings to give that idea of moving the character, you know, that movement. And again, we've got, she's wearing a cardigan, so let's remember that. I'll draw these lines, and then we'll adjust it with the volume of the legs here. Okay, but we did make her head a bit too big here. Let's adjust her head size. Okay. Let's make sure she's just as big as him. Yep, okay. So now let's get back. Let me look at the text here. Okay, so we can split this to two. So we can actually have one of these text bubbles when we have one small part of the sentence here, and then we have the rest written here. Okay, and you know, this we're reading American, so it's a left to right. You know, normally in the Asian versions of this stuff, they would read it from right to left, but you know, we read with our orientation, so we're gonna stay to our orientation. So when I'm designing the panels, I'm keeping in mind we're you know, this whole line here that we're reading from left to right, and there's like a hierarchy here, right? So we're gonna start from the top, we read down to the bottom, and then we'll read here, and then we'll read here to the end. Okay, so something to keep in mind when you're also creating the scene, you gotta make some space for the text bubbles as well, because we don't always want the text to be covering the art. So over here, I used all this empty space that she's leaning into to create the bubbles here. And then, you know, we've got all this extra space here coming down into the panel, right? So we've got the text over here as well. Okay, And we've got a little bit of space here, but let me see what happens next. I may just skip it. Oh, hang on, we got another message from Velas. Let me go ahead and translate that. And I apologize, but I'll move on. All the best to you and see you soon. And also, you have a wonderful drawing style. Let me thank you. Let me translate that back and write it back to you, actually. There we go. And now we have a reply. Okay. So now, what happens next in the story? So he's gonna shove her away. And now she complains at this point. Okay. Ooh, okay, hold on. Alright, so it's gonna be fun here. Okay, so what happens next is she's gonna whine at this point, right? Okay, now I did this out of habit, but you know, these characters have their noses a lot more rounded. So we got the furrowed brow because she's frustrated. but I'm gonna create this shape here. Here's where the ear would be. And then, as if the camera is between the characters, we get a camera change over here. Now you can make this more comedic. Okay. And then, you know, maybe we might change this expression, right? But I think I want to stick with this angle. I think I want to, you know, put it so that we see this side of her. And then we're gonna get one of these panels. And then we see a smirk. Right? And then we'll have a bubble here. And then we're gonna have surprise face. Now for here, we're gonna put her hands here. Okay, now she is the type of girl that likes long nails. So I always gotta draw long nails on top of her fingers. And she gives out a eep. And I want to allow the earrings to give us a sense that she turned her head around, right? I'm also gonna add these little dashes as like a visual cue that the head gets turned around here as well. Okay. Now we're gonna turn the camera back to the guy. And then we're gonna move on to a wide shot. Okay, so I'm actually going to make the panel skinny here before we hit the wide shot. And I want to make full use of the back. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to create some darkness here. We're going to have the text here. And then we're going to go to the wide shot. And we're going to make it one panel like this. So let's make the smaller versions of them. I made that way too big. Okay, there. We have a basket over here. Okay. This is the door that's behind them. That's the end of the roof, and then, you know, we've probably got like the other buildings. Which are probably gonna be bombarded. But yes. But I wanted a pan of the sky here. So, you know, we create this illusion of starting with the sky and then panning it down to the wide shot. So that's the idea here. But I also want to look at the character as he's talking. So we kind of get the best of the both worlds here. So when you're drawing the side profile, just always remember that the nose is going to exceed the front of the box. Which probably sounds obvious, but at least for me, every time I draw from imagination and I do a profile, you know, I draw the profile, I always forget. I always draw it with the nose still inside the box like this. And then I always just end up with weird faces. But it took me a while to just be like, okay, you know what? We're gonna go outside the box. We're gonna think outside the box. Okay, we're going for a neutral expression here. Okay, we gotta put a little bump there for the Adam's apple, which is something that I typically tend to forget because I usually draw, you know, I draw girls a lot. So when I draw a male character, I always forget to draw that apple. All right. Since the character is stretching their arms forward, there's gonna be some what do you call these little points? When you have kind of pinch points of your clothing. Also, I forgot he's wearing a thermal shirt, right? So this is actually going to drag out. But let me just draw a small little line to remind myself that. Actually, we have to leave this empty here. Then we're gonna get this. So I'm gonna get a close up to the eye. And then okay, maybe I don't like that head position. Let's try a different head angle. Okay, so the eyelids are kind of closed. They're closing, they're halfway. That's the kind of expression I want her to give. There we go. So now we've got a sad expression here. You know what? I want her to twirl her hair, actually, to really emphasize that awkwardness, right? Actually, she has the sweater on, so we're not gonna see all this stuff, but yeah. Twirl. I'm gonna write a twirl. Okay, so again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I see a lot of ways I can fix this, but we're gonna move on and just focus on drawing the next scene, which I just realized we got it done here. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, actually, maybe I can fit this scene here real quick. I draw another hand up here. Base here. So again, doesn't have to be perfect. Just the whole point is that when I come back, I want an idea of how things are supposed to be, or how I wanted the scene to set up, right? That's essentially the point of storyboarding. And to communicate important things, right, before we commit to the actual, like, full drawing. Don't know what I want to do with this hand here. Well, I'll come back to this hand, because at least for now, don't exactly know what I want to do with it. Okay, so in the next scene, we're supposed to have her put her palm on her chest. But I don't know if I want to zoom in or we make a full box. Okay, but I wanna give her a more like feminine version of touching the chest. I think we will take this like that. Because you know, there's a joint, we can move joints along. And she's serious, so we gotta furry her brows. So it's more like a scene of declaration than anything else. So definitely made this one eye bigger than the other. Yeah, they're about the same. Okay. So I drew the head to try to fit the frame, but because of that, I ended up making the body look too big. So we're going to change that by decreasing the size of the body. That being said, I think we also need to decrease the size of the hand. Now let's add some of these lines, the focus lines, because she is very serious in this scene. She's got something important to say here. Okay, now I got a narrow panel when they're both gonna be in the same thing. So we've got this expression. Over here, she's doing the air quote fingers. Okay, and she's also wearing the cardigan, so something to keep in mind. Oh, the battery. Let's plug this in, shall we? Okay. Why am I doing it so sharp? There you go. Okay, so we're gonna cover the other character up with bubbles because she's kind of invading his space here, which is fine. Now we go back to her again. Yep. I found her earrings in the last one. Okay, so now I gotta resize this because this was way... There you go. Let's get some more of her body in here. Now we've got just align the eyes. Here. So this is like a fabrication. I wouldn't say a fabrication, but this is like a little, it's a memory. So to remind myself it's a memory, I'm gonna actually put a little darkness around here. Okay. Alright, we still got more panels to make. Okay, so now I take this and shrink it. Actually, no. We're gonna put... I want to put a direction that he's moving his head. But also, what he says gets cut off. So I want the bubble to get the cut off. And she'll be in the next frame here, cutting him off. And there's her neck. Okay, so now let's take a look at the whole thing. Let's see how far I am to the end. Okay. I'm gonna go over my script. I've got 2 more pages of dialogue left on my script. So I think we could make it. I think we can make it. But if we don't, it's fine. So there's a scene that I will admit we don't need. If I have to cut it out, I'll cut it out. But you know, the scene was just meant to give, like, you know, to just take the seriousness out of the situation. So that's why it's unnecessary. But if I can keep it in, I'll keep it in, because, you know, we get more character, I don't want to say development, but we learn more about the characters, and I think that's pretty important for the first episode at least, you know, because we got to decide who we like, who we don't like, right? So yeah, let's keep it going. Now, the reason why I wanted to zoom out as well is because the next scene, I wanted it to be, I wanted to copy and paste. So what I mean by that is that I wanted to invoke the sense of silence. So it's gonna be him. Okay, so this is definitely uh I'll just fix it a little, but so I wanted her to like intensely like, you know, just look at him, you know, and so we have a panel without words to just kind of give that intense little silence, and then he's gonna break it here. Oh hey, welcome back. Hello again. Do you mind if I complain a little bit about the strangeness of some streamers? Well, yeah, I do a bit, you know. Ideally, this is an art stream, so it's just art and chill. But you know, it just really depends on, you know, what do you mean by complaining? Because, you know, I believe I even put it in my rule set that, you know, I only like mild venting. But, you know, the idea is, you know, to have a stream, have a good time, you know, maybe it's a little educational here and there, you know, and just have like, you know, some nice positive chats. So, you know, if you want to address a concern, that's fine, but you know, we're not going to dive deep into it. Or go on a rant about it. Okay, that's it. I understand. I'm not saying okay, and I continue to keep a chill atmosphere. Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. Thank you for asking. You know, because sometimes people just come in guns blazing about, you know, just talking about random stuff. pew pew. So I'm gonna draw a hand here. But yeah, now for my streams, there's like a time and a place for things, you know? When it just comes to the art stream, it's just definitely meant to just be, you know, we're just chilling and we're vibing and we're having a good time. But if you come on Mondays for a video game stream, you know, I'm willing to, you know, talk about different things and just kind of adjust the mood of the stream. But, you know, for Wednesdays, we're definitely here to just draw, learn, and be positive and feel motivated and ultimately be creative. Because your ideas matter. Okay, for those of you watching, your ideas matter. Okay, no matter, think about it. Let's think about this really quick, okay, just for a moment. Okay, we as humans, we're more alike than we think. Okay, I'm pretty sure if you have like an idea for a story, there is going to be a group of people out there that agree with you, they understand you, and you know, they're gonna overall vibe with your story. You know, they're gonna get it. There's some group out there, and as long as a group like that exists, then you know, the ideas that you bring to the platform or to the media is relevant, you know, and they do carry some kind of significance. So, you know, so your ideas matter. Okay, so if you feel creative and you have what you think is a good idea, but what's stopping you is this idea that, oh, nobody's gonna care, or it's not better than this and it's not better than that, then, you know, once you start going down that line, you've already defeated yourself. You've already allowed your idea to be consumed by, you know, the negative energy. But, you know, realistically speaking, you know, you don't have to hold your ideas to that standard. You know, somebody out there is going to agree with you. And once you put it on the internet, you'll eventually find that. You know, people will find your stuff and people will tell you, hey, I agree with you. You know, I think the same way, or I believe in the same things, okay? Because in this world, there are so many different beliefs. And being on the internet allows us to connect with all those people who believe in the same things. So, you know, that being said, don't be afraid to share your ideas. And that's something that keeps me going. It keeps me creating, you know. I'm not afraid to share what I think, you know. And another thing that people might run into is that, oh, well, you know, I don't want people to get mad about what I think. But that just comes with the whole territory of expression, you know. Some people may agree with you. There are going to be people who disagree with you, for sure. And then some people are not nice about how they disagree with you, right? And they want to attack you sometimes. But that's something you got to be prepared for. But is that enough to deter or to scare you away from expressing yourself? Well, that's up to you. I'm not letting that fear stop me, and I don't want that fear to stop you. Okay? So you got to burn that dread. Okay, so he's gonna wave his hand here. we have her hoop earring to help us see that she's here. Okay, now I should have a box here. Yes. Okay. Now I'm just thinking about the camera position in this angle. How do I want to set the camera here? Okay. So now we're gonna have her lean aside here. Okay, we'll get back to that. How do I want her to sit? Actually, we'll have her facing the basket over here. Russell, right? All right. He's gonna be looking at her from here. Okay. So that lighter. Okay. I also forget that he has like a little belt coming out. Okay. Yeah, now that I've drawn his head, I think this bubble's a little too... Yeah, okay. Okay, what's next on the script? Oh, okay, and then she just kind of... Alright, here it comes. So we're gonna draw some hands. Oh, hang on, actually. Hang on. We got this. Hold on. So I realized I drew it backwards. Okay, because the thumb is on... I drew the pinky here. The thumb is on this side, but that makes no sense because I have both hands spreading out like this. So that was the idea. So now we've got to... I'm gonna draw this side again. Okay. Now let's combine these together. And now that we've drawn it, I want to make it smaller. Because on this scene as well, I also want to create the guy. Okay, so we're gonna have the center lines here. Okay. Now we've got now we want this very sickly expression. You know, I may have drawn that hand a bit too small. Okay, so now we went from ta-da to there. So now hmm. I'm gonna pop up the cheeks here because she's munching on what she just showed. Okay. Sometimes you want to narrow down the panel. So I got like this vertical panel now. I want this text to be here, and I want a text to be here. So let's be mindful about where I'm drawing it. For here, let me erase. I want to draw a face. Okay. Now we have a side profile cut. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of text here. Okay. And then we close up. Okay, zoomed in a little too much here. And now right here, I want to give an evil look. So we know we have a hand here, right? So we have the hands. And now we just hit those realistic values to really give that sense of danger. Okay. So very weird angle, but you know, sometimes it's good to throw off the reader with weird angles like this. So I will definitely fix this another time, but this is just me like, hey, let's do like an angle like this, and then you know, so, and you know, when it comes to corrections, stuff like this, you can take a picture of yourself, right? Because you could get you could set the camera to where you want it to be, draft it, and then when you come back and you actually like, you know, draw it, you can take a picture and use yourself as a reference, or have a friend and take a picture of them in that angle, and you can get all the correct proportions for those angles. It's a very useful thing to do. I highly recommend you do it. And that's what I'm going to do that here. I drew the angle off of imagination here. I know that this is incorrect for sure, but I will take a picture of someone when I come back to this to get the proper, you know, measurements for that angle, see where everything lands, right? Where everything fits in perspective. And then, you know, we'll have a corrected drawing by the end of, you know, me finishing this episode. Oh, and we got one more line left. What if we add... Stop. Okay. Okay. Actually, let's split this bubble. I got a big panel here. Get that nail. I don't want her to frown, actually. I want her to smile when she says this line. So she'll have the brow furrowed, but I want her to smile while she's saying this line. This is a pretty important line in the story. Okay. Let's add the lines. Let's give it a little bubble. Okay. And he's not gonna be impressed. Three bubbles. Because he's gonna... Oh, actually, I could do something fun with this. Hold on. There's something fun I can do with this. Okay. So we're gonna have a bubble come out 3 times. And I'm gonna put another panel under it. And I want the bubbles to be like, you know, his words are just annoying her, right? You know, we're gonna put some sweat here. I think it's funny. I might change this later, but you know. And I'm gonna have her looking a little nervous. Oh, hi, Blue Ocean. Welcome back. How are you? I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great. It's just, you know, things are coming along. We've been very busy, you know, working on a lot of stuff. But, yeah, you know, working on a new story. Happy to do it. We're working on it on stream. And, yeah, we're coming along. We're almost at the last strip here. So I'm hitting the limit. But yeah, we're doing great. Welcome. Happy to see you back here on the stream. And you know, you're still just in time. I will be here for another half an hour. So yeah, you know, let's let's chat and stuff. So, you know, just to zoom out and show you what we worked on today, we're just storyboarding the first episode of this new webcomic that I'm creating. And, you know, I'm just showing the process. And this is what, this is what I do before I draw out the whole episode, right? We got to make sure we plan ahead. We figure out how the panels are going to look, the angles that we're going to put them in, you know, where the bubbles are, right? When they're talking, how we're going to make use of the paneling and all this stuff, right? So let's actually go through it. Let's go through the whole thing. And I'm not going to reveal like the story, but this is how it would look if you were to read it on your phone, right? We've got, you know, just two eyeballs, some text, and we got some text, and then there's the title. And then the next scene will have a hand patting something down, and then we zoom out, we see there's a character here, and then we get a close-up of this little area here. We've got a fist, and then we see the character fist pumping into the air, but then we hear a noise down here, right? Let me actually add some more BZs. This is where we use sounds, and I'm using the sound of the way to create this line, right? And then we pick up the phone. We got some hard eyes. We're looking at the phone. There's like a text here, and then we're gonna text them back. And then there's some fidgeting, and then a door is gonna open, and then her heart's beating fast. And then we've got this character walking in, and she's like, "Ooh, hard eyes," right? And she wants to hug him, but he's like, "No, don't touch me. Don't touch me." And then, you know, she's complaining about something here, right? And then we've got a hand establishing that we're somewhere else, and they're sitting down together, and then she's over here, and now she's leaning into him. You know, here's some text, but now he's pushing her back. Oh no. And now she's complaining, right? Or she's saying something here, looking up into the sky. Now we've got a little close up, and then the guy says something kind of slick here, you know. And she's like, "Whoop, eep," and you know, let's add some blush here. Now that I'm back here, I want to add some blush. Doesn't she look cute? Now we add the blush, so now we're gonna add some blushing here. And then he's gonna say some stuff, and he's gonna go on and on. Like the text goes from here to here to here, right? And then we've got them outside again, but now he's giving this glare, right? Oh man, now he's got this serious look. He's looking at her, and she's kind of nervous, so she's twirling her hair here, and she's replying. And now he's got his arms out, just saying something. But now she's got something to say, and it's looking intense. I added all these lines, right? And she's like, "Oh, this and that, and this, that, and that." And now she's coming up to him, and she's like, you know, now she's doing the air quote thing. Like, "Oh yeah, you know, this and that, and blah blah blah." And you know, now she's talking about something, and we've got a hazy darkness here because this is describing a memory. You know how like you watch a cartoon show and a character talks about something and they remember something, and you see like a character in the back? It's kind of what we're doing here. And then this character is looking away and saying something, but now she interrupts him. She says something else. She's coming in and she's like really close to him, and he's like, "All right, whatever, like, you know, you're too close. Go away, right?" And now we're gonna have her leaning into this basket that we saw in the beginning, and she's gonna pull out this thing with her hands. Ta-da! Well, he's disgusted by this. He's like, "Oh, what is that? That's disgusting," right? And we've got this face showing that he's disgusted, and she's eating it. She's like, "No, you know, it's just pretty good." And you know, he's like questioning, like, "Oh man, I don't know." And then she says something here, and he kind of gives that like that doesn't make sense kind of like reply here. And now he's just face palming because this is, you know, this is so silly, and he's just annoyed. And then we zoom in and he gives like this evil look, right? Because he's thinking here. This is like a thought bubble, right? He's thinking to himself, and then he has this evil thought here. Oh man, evil. And then you know, and while he's thinking, she just now she's saying something, and he keeps quiet for a bit, and he gives her a reply, right? She's not very enthusiastic to say what he has to say. And then she replies in, and she's given this very serious impression. We added these lines to show that she is really being vocal about what she's saying. And then but he's not fazed by it, and he's just saying something. And I added all this text to kind of like bury her face, because what he's saying is like very annoying, and he's repeating it. So she's just kind of like, okay, I get it, gosh, right? And we got drawing little sweats on her. And you know, and that's what we got so far. You know, and this is part of it. When you're making an episode, you want to storyboard it, and you want to kind of plan out how the scenes are going, and you know, where the camera angle is at, how we're looking at the characters, right? Because you know, as we're watching this, it's like we're like a little fly, and we're flying around, and we're looking at these characters and being a part of this conversation in this moment, right? So these are things we want to think about when we're creating these things. So now I'm going to move on to the next part, to the next scene. Now I have everything written. It's not on the screen, but everything is written in front of me on a different computer screen. And you know, I'm keeping track of what's happening in the events using the script. But yeah, you definitely want to write the script and write the dialogue of everything that happens before you even do the storyboard. Because, you know, I don't know, I think it makes sense to say that, you know, if you don't know what the story is, why are you making a storyboard, right? So yeah, make sure you want to prepare that first and figure out, you know, how the story is before you commit to this stage. So now, let's see, the way you make it, it is very funny in the story. Thank you. Good. Yes, that's great, because we're moving to a more serious part now. So, you know, when it comes to when you're creating a story, you know, emotions have to come here or there, right? So, you know, maybe at the beginning it started off pretty like okay, right? And then it got a little serious, but then it gets a little funny, and then it gets a little serious again, right? And then there's a little like, you know, when we see this part, it's a little uncomfortable because now he's thinking something very bad here. I can't write it, but I know he's thinking something bad here. So that's the impression I want to give you. Like, oh man, maybe this guy's not a good person, right? So now we're gonna move on to the next scene, and let's see. Next we have. Oh well, let's add a bubble here because I want her to say something. She's definitely gonna reply to all of this. And it should be that big. It's not that much text here. And oh, okay. Speaking of evil, we get the next scene. He gives off an evil smile. So this is going to be a big panel because this is actually a pretty important event. So we've got this you know, this awkward, not awkward, but like this very evil looking smile, right? And we're gonna look at him from an above angle because this angle makes everyone uncomfortable, right? And now let's just draw some very uncomfortable eyes here. See, don't he look evil now? So now we're gonna draw he's got some thick eyebrows, so we're gonna throw the thick eyebrows. And now Now, regardless of the angle, you always got to think of the form. So we know that the forehead is a little round, so we're going to round up here. And now we're going to go up to this. We know that he's got some curls on the top of his head. But all that kind of fades as we go towards the end here. And now, you know, and I chose this angle because it looks creepy, right? Like, to look at somebody from below like this is just a very uncomfortable feeling, and that's the point. I want the reader to feel uncomfortable here. So I'm going to put an uncomfortable point of view. And then it's also a little like distorted, but distortion creates, again, we're thinking about feeling. So, you know, distortion makes us feel uncomfortable, and that's the idea. I want you to feel uncomfortable when you're reading this part, right? Like, whoa, man, why are we suddenly looking at this guy like this? Okay, so now that we've done this, I want to minimize this a bit because I need space for the text. So we're gonna start over here, and then we're gonna get another one here, and then we're gonna get a third one here. He's gonna say a lot. He has a lot to say in this scene. And then maybe we'll add some darkness in the back, right? Really, really sell that this is a very eerie moment. Now, despite us, now, okay, so that was that scene, right? We gave him this very spooky impression. But in the world that this comic takes place, now we see him like that, but the girl, she does not see him like that. So she's actually going to look back at him like now she's gonna look a little shocked here, but that's because like her eyes, the way I'm gonna set her up her eyes is gonna give you a different impression here. So hang on, I've got to stretch the mouth because when you open your mouth, right, the jaw is going down and it makes your face longer. Okay, so I'm keeping that in mind as I'm elongating her mouth here. But she's got like this gas face. And I'm going to put stars in her eyes. She's very excited about what he just said. She's like, oh my gosh. I'm gonna draw this ear even though the hair is gonna cover it. It just helps me position her hoop earrings. I'm gonna draw little diamonds. Because she's really excited about what she just heard. And at this point, us as the reader, we're like, you know, this is the point where we're yelling at the character, don't do it, don't listen, don't fall for it, right? Because that's the kind of moment that this is right here. And let's also add a hand here. I feel like adding a hand really adds to this. Okay. And she's got long nails. I gotta remind myself. Let's make these nails long. Okay. Okay. Mo would have been laughing his head off with this one. Maybe, yeah. Okay, we're almost at the end here. We've got one more strip left to kind of wrap this up. Okay. And now I want to split this panel up right here, and then we're gonna have another panel here. Alright, so we're gonna draw. We're gonna be looking back. Now over here, we're gonna zoom in on his face because this gets a little intense. And we're gonna raise the bottom eye lip up here. To really show that intensity here. No. He said his lips get me every time. Oh yeah. He's got black lipstick, man. I'm kidding. Okay. I'm gonna put the ears here. Okay, let's actually shorten this a bit. How was April Fool's yesterday? Nobody tried to prank you? You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was hanging out with Key to Life on her stream on Twitch, and I don't really celebrate April Fool's Day like at all. Every time it's April 1st, I forget that people like to play pranks on that day, right? So but yeah, I was just hanging out watching her stream, and she played an April Fool's joke for her stream, and it was very fun. It was a fun time. And I totally didn't see it coming because, you know, I'm over here just, you know, working on the comic and stuff while I'm watching the stream, and she just throws that out out of nowhere, and I'm like, what the heck? And like, I was really like confused, and then she says April Fools, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's today. So yeah, so that's how mine went. How was your April Fool's Day? It was boring. All we got was extra homework. That was the April Fool's joke, the extra homework. Imagine. Okay. Maybe I should wait until I do the artwork before I do the bubble, but yeah, let's... Okay. Now, I could technically end it here. We could end the episode like this, but I did write some more. I got a couple of more scenes. So I'm gonna, of course, continue to write out the rest of the scenes. I got like one more page of dialogue. Yeah, it'll just be like one more line, one more strip, and then we'll be done. I think we can squeeze all that in. Yeah, and that's basically gonna be it. Yeah, this has been episode 1 in a nutshell. So once I finish putting in the rest of the panels, then we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the episode. So actually, let's actually do a panel count before we end the stream. Now, there has to be at least 40 panels. Let's see, we said, Blue Ocean says, nope, real extra homework and 2 more extra hours to our school time. Our school time is 7 hours long, plus the 2. 9 hours of school, that's more than adults work most of the time. That's absolutely crazy. That is super lame. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's so extra. Like, I'm all about let's do schoolwork and let's study and let's get smarter and let's improve ourselves. But, don't overdo it, right? That's a little too much. But, as a kid, you can't really fight it. There's not much you can do about it, right? I guess we'll just have to do the homework. So let's go ahead and get a count on how many panels we have. I have 1, 2. I don't think the title would count, right? So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay, we met the quota. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. We've got 55 panels here. Now, the quota is we need at least 40. We can't just go less than 40. So we met quota. If I just went straight with what we drew today, this is enough for one episode. And I can literally end it at that point where, you know, I probably will. Honestly, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. Just go into the drawing board, sit down, reflect, look it over right before we commit to actually drawing everything. Okay, so, but yeah, that's pretty much the beginning of the process. Ooh. So for today's stream, you guys got to see the episode before I ever even finish it or publish it. For the most part, I mean, you guys don't know what is being said, but you've seen it and you know how the scenes look like. So yeah, look forward to actually reading it when I finish it. And this is just episode 1. I've got 2 more to make within this month. So, we got a lot of work to do. Let's see what else we got. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's stream. I hope you guys found that very useful, valuable. And if you did, hit that like button on YouTube. Share it if you know somebody who really wants to learn storyboarding or get an idea of how it's like. And hopefully the content was helpful. Hope you guys enjoyed. Big shout out for our new follower on Twitch, Veles from Russia. Really appreciate your support and all the kind words today, and really appreciate that you took the time to translate, and speak to me even though you don't know English that well. So hopefully you understood what I said, and I look forward to seeing you again some point in the future. Come check me out on Mondays. Mondays I stream video games, but on YouTube I have it on a separate channel. So, but you're on Twitch, so if you come in on Monday, we can talk about what you wanted to talk about earlier. But for the art streams, we're definitely really cool and we're really chill and we're very educational, and we're also very motivating. Speaking of motivation, guys, remember, as I always say at the end, your efforts will never betray you. Work hard to get the skills that you want, and you will always have those skills. And there's just something gratifying about being able to just do something, right? Having an ability, and it's something that you worked for. It's a nice way to look for some fulfillment in life. So I always say your effort will never betray you. It's definitely worth it. Go for it. Don't just settle by being a consumer all your life, okay? Because you can actually do some pretty cool stuff yourself, and somebody else can consume whatever it is that you create with your own abilities that you work for. So yeah, Blue Ocean says, give me one now, take all my money. That reminds me of the Fry meme, take all my money. But yeah, but no, Blue Ocean, it's all gonna be free. And the best part, Blue Ocean, is that unlike my the other comic that I have is, it's ages for 16 and up, so you wouldn't be able to read that one. But this one I made sure anybody can read this. So you can definitely take a look at this once I finish it, and I hope you like it. But as always, guys, be kind to others. You have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next stream.